welcome to Nerdsplaining podcast. I'm your host, Eric Da Silva. With me, as always, my co-host, Jose Romero.
Greetings, salutations, nerds around the world. We're back at it again. A couple weeks hiatus. We're here. We're ready to rock. Talk some geek. Talk some nerddom. I got some, not breaking news. It's not the right word, but I got some interesting news which I hadn't mentioned to you earlier. I just found out like 30 minutes ago. All that stuff. We got some trailers. We got a little Daredevil ending. We got some Last of Us as well, which began its second season. We'll talk about all that good stuff, man. This interesting bit of news that I just learned, Star Wars related.
Oh,
Star Wars related. So apparently, whatever this new movie that's coming out,
the
whatever.
Mandalorian new movie,
whatever unnamed title is going to be, maybe the Sean Levy, whatever.
Oh, Levy.
That one,
Right. Okay.
Keep hearing rumors, Ryan Gosling's attached to that, whatever.
Right.
But apparently, this came from a very good source, not one of mine, just a source in general in Hollywood. I was talking that they had offered a role in whatever Star Wars movie that is going to be to Mickey Madison. Mickey Madison, the Academy Award-winning, current reigning Best Actress, Mickey Madison.
Yes.
From Nora and all that. So they offer her a role in the Star Wars, what capacity, whatever. I don't know what it was. And apparently she turned it down.
Oof.
That's interesting. You don't hear that very often.
No.
Because, she's coming off her Oscar. She's kind of unknown. This is her chance. She's
right.
entering the big leagues. Right?
Yeah.
Here's your chance to make the big bucks, right? A big franchise film. And she turned it down. There's no reason to it yet. I heard through someone else that it could be related to the fandom.
I literally was going to say, it's 100% the fandom.
Which could very well be the case, right?
Star Wars fans are their own worst enemies, and they hate any female that's not Carrie Fisher. It's just what it is.
They hate black people. They hate everybody, apparently. I don't know.
They hate everybody.
If you ask Boyega. I don't know. Interesting. It's again, I don't know if that's true. That part of it is true or not in terms of why she turned her role up. But look, Star Wars nerds kind of have nice things. That's been proven, right?
Secondly, I mean, listen. You look at the chick who played Rey. I forgot her name right now.
Oh, Daisy
Ridley. She's a fantastic actress. Has not done much after those 3 movies.
You're right. She hasn't gotten. She did a couple of small things, but nothing really panned
out.
Right.
And she's good. She's legit good.
I like her.
So.
And this could be Mickey Madison could be a one-hit wonder. We never know. But when
right.
The iron is hot. I mean, right? I mean, this fandom or not, if that's true, it's a weird choice not to go for it because it doesn't take the back. You know, you're right. A lot of actors win Oscars and they hear from again, right? Cuba Gooding Jr. is an example. Just came to mind real quick. Well,
he did do radio.
He did. He's begging for Star Wars now, but he didn't do a whole lot after that, right?
Right.
Agent Brody's been up and down. It's not. I mean, it happens all the time, right? And listen, Star Wars is, as big as next to Marvel, I guess, obviously. But yeah, that's weird. That's an interesting choice. That's odd to turn that down, man. I can see the agent going, man, what do you think?
Well, no, I think honestly,
it could be the fandom, and I get it. I
think if she has a good agent, at this point, the agent will be like, listen. If you want the money, you want this. If you want longevity, don't. And that's.
I mean, you can do both. I mean, we see now a lot of.
Very rarely.
Very rarely. A lot of a lot of big actors who, get notoriety of something like MCU.
No, but I'm talking Star Wars. Star Wars does not have the cachet it used to. That's what I'm saying.
That's fair. That's a fair statement.
Like if you're unknown, like let's look at Pedro Pascal. Unknown, Mandalorian made him. Let's be honest. Mandalorian made Pedro Pascal. He was around a lot. He did a lot of things. He was in Game of Thrones, but no one started talking about Pedro Pascal until after Mandalorian. Mandalorian was his first big step. If you're like not a household name, Star Wars can make you. But if you just got your Oscar,
which I don't think she's still a household name though, because I know it wasn't like a huge
but she's got the Oscar.
Which she's got
a fast track.
She has clout, but not the notoriety as
Right.
Ryan Reynolds, who she could play opposite of, or Margot Robbie, right? That's notoriety, right?
Well, here's the thing. Because he's not confirmed, that's why it's a pass.
Well, he's not confirmed, but I mean, by the way, as an actor who could potentially, was big.
I agree. But if you had a bigger name already as the lead anchor, that would change people's tunes. She's like, listen, I don't know if he's going to say yes or no. So why am I going to attach myself to a project that might not get the dude? And granted, it is the dude who just directed Deadpool Wolverine.
That's fair
Massive
point.
clout.
That's
Massive
he's a good
clout. I
director.
get it.
That's
Pretty
right.
good. But we've all seen writer directors have highs and lows. So you want to make that smart move and stack it. Look at this way. Even Timothy Chalamet said that after when he got his big break into movies and started to become a star, he talked to Leonardo DiCaprio, and Leonardo DiCaprio said, "No superhero movies."
Yeah, I guess there was a time when that would be the case. I'm not sure.
Right, but even to this day, Leo's
Well,
like, "No
because
superhero
we
movies."
see. I mean,
And
well,
Timothy took the pivot. He did Dune,
right, he
but
did
that's as
Dune, right?
close
It's a
to.
big project. That's a Star
And
Wars
right,
esque. But
right,
we
exactly,
see
exactly.
Harrison Ford. He was in Marvel. Kate Blanchett. I mean, she's as good as an
No, but they're
actress.
already established. If you're
Oh,
already
I get it,
got
but
the
I'm
years
saying,
of establishment,
but they do it right. I think Caprio is
right?
just saying avoid it entirely. I don't think that's the right way to go.
No, and
Sometimes,
there's no longer a
yeah,
stigma for it, but
correct.
there's no longer
Yeah.
a stigma if you're already big. When you're grinding up, you got to play it smart. And here's the thing: if it would have been Marvel or DC, I think she would have said
Maybe.
yes. But because it's Star Wars and it's
You're
this
right.
weird place
Yeah,
right now, that's why I think she said no.
it's definitely a downswing, but it's out of the fandoms. That's the worst. Star
Absolutely,
Wars, I think, is the worst.
that's the worst.
And they're all kind of bad, right? And toxic,
Right.
and and I'll mention that a little bit. But yeah, it's bad either way. But Star Wars is definitely the worst, no question about it. So listen, I get it. It's just it's hard. I'm sure that's as big as paid that she's ever gonna get,
I bet
right?
you her
I mean,
if she has a good agent, the agent is mad right now, but understands.
I'm sure because he's missing a lot because that would have been as big. If she's gonna do a small
Oh
movie,
yeah,
yeah,
his or her cut would have been
millions, yeah, millions of
fantastic, right?
dollars,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's tough. Good. Listen, kudos to her. Control your career. I get it, but then that's hard to turn down that kind of cheese, man.
I
I mean, I get it.
listen.
I mean, wow, good for you. I mean, hey, I hope it works
I
out.
get it.
Maybe she could do other roles, and let's hope so.
Yeah.
Because if not, she's gonna look back at this moment and says, "Damn."
Oh yeah. Oh hey, listen, it's a
Shit.
catch twenty
No, no,
two,
yeah, you
man. It
roll the
can go
die.
either
You
way.
roll the die. So, but that's what I mean. I
Yeah.
guess I mean it could very well be something else. It could be scheduling, or maybe they hired her for the movie and told her they're not going to make it before they told us in 6 months. Maybe
Yeah.
all right, cool, I'm out. I don't know. We'll see. But that's it. That's kind of interesting. But let's stick in this like, toxic nerdum. Oh, fandom anyway. Marvel. A couple of trailers dropped. I know I only saw one of them because I only see the real first trailer, then it's
Right.
done, right? So the
Right.
last Thunderbolts trailer came out. I didn't see it. I'm gonna see this movie early on Tuesday. Um,
This coming Tuesday?
yeah, I'm gonna see it on this coming Tuesday.
Oh nice. All
So
right.
maybe we'll see if we do something on Wednesday. But that being said, I'm gonna see it a little early.
Sure.
And what I mean, I'm not excited about the film to be honest with you. Not to say it's not gonna be good. I'm just not excited.
I'm actually a little bit excited
Yeah.
about it. Oh,
Yeah.
Granted, I'm a Century fan, so that's
Oh,
why
fair
I had
enough.
Century's first appearance. I'm a Century fan.
No,
So
listen. I mean, I don't know if the one trailer I saw was like they are gonna fight Sentry. Then I don't even know. To be honest with you, I don't know if this trailer
it looks like,
revealed.
especially with this new trailer, it looks like. But Sentry looks like it's going to be. Sentry does have the dark side, which is the Void, which is clearly what they're positioning as to be the villain of the movie.
Okay.
But the Sentry is going to be one of those villains where like we're not going to kill him because he's not actually evil. He just has his dark side. He has to
Well,
learn
they're
how
not
to
gonna kill
control.
him because let's be honest, they can't kill Sentry.
Well, they killed him in comic books a bunch of times. It keeps coming back because he's that powerful.
Not like they can't like Marvel won't kill him as a character. I'm saying the characters who they're up against have no chance to defeat Sentry.
Oh yeah, clearly.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. It's like,
Yes.
well,
Yes.
I'm curious how that's. I'm not sure what the trailer review. I don't even want to know, but I'm kind of curious if that dynamic plays out. Like they can't toe to toe. It's not going to work. That doesn't work. We all know this, right?
I feel like okay, so let's remember way back when, all the way to February, Captain America, Brave New World, when Falcon, Cap, Sam talks down Red Hulk. I feel it's gonna be
Oh, right.
what
I didn't see it, but
what
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
what they wanted to do but felt rushed in the movie. They're gonna do in a really cool way that's gonna feel earned in this movie.
I hope.
That's
Yeah,
what I think.
that's the only way. That's the only thing they can do.
Only way.
It's the only
only
way.
way.
They can't fight. If they fight, being like, I'm like, dude, I don't want to see. I really don't want to see that. But I think you're right. To me, something like he's bad now, he's good, that kind of thing. But
Right,
you introduce
right.
another.
It's the Hulk, but worse. Because the
Right.
Hulk is essentially still Banner, but it's just
Sure.
Banner's rage.
Of course.
The Void is just straight up your
Evil
your
or whatever
evil
power.
ego, just
Yeah. Okay.
unbound, darkness. Every wants to destroy everything, and then but you can hold it back. But it's not you. It's a thing we all have. But it's that overwhelming darkness that you have to learn how to control. And of course, the more powerful Sentry is, the more powerful the Void is. So it's a
Oh,
cool
fair
dynamic.
enough.
But I think that's what it's going to be. It's sort of like having him get control and realize this dude is like a nuclear bomb. We don't take him out unless it's incredibly necessary.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, all guns. I mean, yeah, they need all the Avengers for that matter. So I
absolutely.
mean, listen, like I said, you said it looked good. So I mean, I think it's gonna be good, solid. Just I still think it's inconsequential. Like I could miss this movie, not whatever, in terms of the grand scheme of things. That was always my
Sure,
concern.
but
But it could still be
we've always
entertaining.
talked
It
about
still could be
the,
entertaining. Okay, cool.
it looks very
Sure,
entertaining, and
fair.
the whole thing about everyone's always complaining like, does everything have to be the end of the world? Like this is just like a
Oh no,
really cool
no,
like action team
sure,
movie, and I'm kind of cool. I'm kind of cool with that. Like I
yeah.
like it is the Century is that powerful, but because no one knows how powerful the Century is, it's gonna surprise people. Which then you're gonna be surprised how epic the villain is, but it doesn't seem that important off the jump, which I think is actually really smart because you want to kind of people are be like, oh, it's gonna be another like no, it's just one dude. They're going, oh, okay, this
Yeah,
is kind
I
of
mean, I
interesting,
hope they
and he kind of
don't kill him off. That'd be kind of weird, but I don't know.
well, they're not because they already saw his name on the
Oh,
chairs
you're right.
on the Avengers thing.
Gotcha.
So clearly,
Okay.
yes, he's safe. But it's the how. It's like a magic trick. Yeah, I know the girl didn't get cut in half, but how did you pull it off?
Fair enough.
That's what I'm going to say.
Fair
Right.
enough. But let's. I mean, let's. Like I said, I'll find out soon enough. But I think it's gonna be entertaining.
Right.
I think it's gonna be nothing else. Might be like fast food entertainment, right? Empty calories. Like, all right, cool, whatever, it's fun, but
I think it's going to be one of
not a
those
whole lot of
gourmet
weight behind it.
hamburgers. Like it's really fancy, but it's still a
It's a
hamburger. But
hamburger, right?
it's
Yeah,
a fanciest hamburger,
yeah,
right? So
and
I
you're
think that's the great.
exactly that's fair, and you're overpaying for it. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a deconstructed
Oh my god,
hamburger.
for real.
It's all. Yeah, I'll take it
All that reverse
now.
sear in
Let's
the
do it.
burger, I get it.
Uh huh. Yeah.
It's a damn burger, no what.
Yeah.
So I have to wait, but we'll stick with new other trailers that I did see, and that's the Fantastic Four, which you weren't even aware of. I'm surprised. I figured you were
I
like,
literally, dude,
I mean, it's a big
I was
trailer.
on the computer, but I was working
Gotcha.
on a project, and I finally turned everything else and off, and I was like, I'm gonna go for a run because I just wanted to clear my head. And while running, you text me. I'm like, we're gonna talk about. I'm like, when did this come out? He's like, yeah, you're an idiot. I'm like, oh god, and that's like, I literally pulled off from the right run on the sidewalk, hiding under a tree, watching my phone. Like people must have been like, did someone get assassinated? I'm like,
That's funny, but yeah. So you're finding this is the same trailer that had a, the CinemaCon apparently.
that's what I right,
It's the
yeah.
same thing. So it was cool. It was good. I still didn't love it. Um, I thought it was good. It was fine. Honestly, I liked Silver Surfer. Looked really cool. Um, and it's just funny because I mean you're gonna go. I haven't checked. I guarantee you're gonna go online. This is where you're gonna see the two camps, right? You got the extremes in both sides come out like droves, right? Those who love it because it could be any movie that is a plaster Marvel. They could have put Marvel or the real Marvel on the Man of Web, and they would have thought the greatest movie of all time. It's just how it works, right? With them, it is. And then you have the ones on the
Right.
other side. Oh my God, there's a woman, and
As always,
oh whatever.
yeah.
I get it. I get all that. It is what it is. You got to sift through the noise. I thought it was a fine. It was a good trailer. I wasn't wowed by it, and I think a lot of it for me is just because I'm just waiting to see on Marvel and where we're going with this,
Right.
and getting back. It's hard to get excited when I haven't given us something to get excited about in a little bit, right? So I'm like, okay, it's like Superman, same thing. I'm like, okay, let's wait and see, right? I'm hopeful. It looked cool. I liked, the aesthetic of the film, the way it looked, and they're pregnant now. Of course, big story like behind
Franklin
that.
Richards, that's already yeah.
Right. So
Okay,
they're
right.
laying the seeds down, literally and
Sure.
figuratively.
Yeah.
It looked good. It looked fine. It was entertaining. Galactus, huge. I don't know. I'm not sure how they beat him. I'm sure out in the comics you tell me that if they done for alone
Okay,
beat
so
Galactus, I don't know, but
let me explain. In the
yeah.
very first time the Galactus showed up and the Fantastic Four were the only people to fight him, it took the Watcher to come in and tell Mr. Fantastic, like, listen, you're all gonna die. Everyone's gonna die. No one beats Galactus. But he does have a spaceship. So if you can sneak into the spaceship, you might find something. And Mr. Fantastic sneaks onto the spaceship and he finds this thing called the Ultimate Nullifier. And this to this day is, in my opinion, one of the greatest weapons of all time. The Ultimate Nullifier doesn't just kill you, it kills the idea of you. So it eliminates you from history, like as if
Oh
you
wow.
never existed. It nullifies you from like the world's the reality literally adjusts around the fact that you weren't there. So things you did get undone or get done by something else, but you get removed.
Interesting.
And so when Mr. Fantastic shows it to Galactus, Galactus like, whoa! It's like seeing a baby with a handgun. He's like, whoa, don't do, you know, give it to daddy. No, no, I'm the smartest baby. No. And so Galactus leaves, and that was it. Now, I don't know if they're going to do that here because, you know, word around the campfire, as you know, there's a rumor that Galactus is going to win, and that's caused the Fantastic Four to try to escape.
I was going to say, yeah, right.
And that's how they end up in Secret Wars. Who know? I don't know, but that's how they beat him in the comics. And of course, after that, there's been plenty of other times they beat him in many different ways, and all very interesting, but all a struggle. One of my favorite comics is Fantastic Four 250, where Galactus comes back, and it's like the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, Spider-Man, and my favorite, Doctor Strange, and out of nowhere, Daredevil. Like, what are you doing, Daredevil? This is so not your fight.
Daredevil, sit down, dude. Just relax.
Your radar sense has to be going crazy for you to pick up what you're doing. It's like cosmic god. No. So, but yeah. So like, but still a great looking cover. So this is what I will say some things. You're saying it looks fine and good, and that's great. It's not a bad review. I will say, I rewound the trailer like 3 or 4 times because there were 4 things that I really visually liked. It's going to sound really stupid, but I really liked it. Number 1, I really liked Ben Grimm's teeth.
I don't think I noticed that, but sure.
I was like, oh, cool, because like that's the thing I've been worried about is like, how's Ben Grimm gonna move, and how does his body control? Like, we saw the first trailer, but you know, you kind of just saw like more like the sincerity in his face a little bit, and so that when he picks up the car and the kids are cheering, and he smiles, you see his teeth, and I actually froze. I was like, oh, cool, his teeth don't look weird.
It was a very cool scene. It had a Superman kind of vibe to it. You know,
super. And so the second thing, both shots of Silver Surfer, I wanted to see what it looked like because I was afraid it was going to be a little bit too shiny. I wanted to see it compared to the original Fantastic Four Silver Surfer that they did, and weirdly enough, it looked really nice. I was happy it didn't look bad, but weirdly enough, that scene where Johnny Storm, Human Torch, follows Silver Surfer out into space and his hand touches her board, there's a water ripple that reminded me a lot of what they were doing with Silver Surfer and Rise of the Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four 2, where he was sort of like a Mercury. I was like, that's cool. They kept that element.
I like because that scene is not exactly shot by shot, but it's a similar scene as we got in that movie, right? He was after where
absolutely
him in that case, but whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, it's kind of familiar. I'm indifferent about that. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Right. I like that. There's even if you see her the first time when she's talking to the Fantastic Four, you see that she's actually projecting her image like on the night sky. So she's talking, and behind her is like a profile shot of her face talking to the world, which I thought was really cool. I was like, that's pretty awesome, right?
Good. She looked good. I like that.
Yeah.
That came out nice.
Number 3, we got to see Pedro Pascal's Mr. Fantastic stretch for the first time.
Yeah, quick. I'm surprised they didn't give us more of that, to be honest with you. But whatever.
Well, I think he's gonna look better, but they want to. It's almost like
you don't think it's ready yet, like the effects.
No. Okay. I think it's ready, but they don't want us to know how cool it's gonna look. It's gonna be one of those wow facts. Think of it this way: do you remember when they were doing the campaign for the very first Transformers, where they kept a lot of the transforming held back because they wanted you to see it like on. I think that's what his stretch powers are going to be like. They really going to wow you with what he can do in the movie. And so you see a little bit of it, lets you know, hey, we got it, but it's going to be a lot cooler than what you think it is.
Yeah, a lot of fans are like, hey, what's going on? I was like, hey,
exactly.
You know,
and I was like, that looks really good. Just like we haven't seen Galactus's face yet. I'm totally cool with that. I want to be.
That's fine. Yeah.
I want to be surprised with like what that looks like. So I'm very excited about that whole effect. That all being said, so those 3 effects together, the shot that made me the happiest, because it just brought back like good Godzilla feels, is seeing Galactus's foot just stomp across and everything's shaking. I was like, that's I'm a big sucker for giant kaiju monsters. I'm like, this is a cosmic kaiju. Yes, go for it. And I really like that. It's so simple, but the fact that everything had physical ramifications for just a walk, I was like, I'm in. This is great. So do I think it's a great? No, it's a good trailer.
It's a good, fine.
It's a good trailer.
It's a good trailer. It's solid, no doubt. I mean, it's funny because I think because it's hard to not compare to Superman because they both come out relatively close, 2 weeks apart,
Yeah.
and those are the two big films of the year, right? Well, at least for each the studio, but each having its own Kaju kind of moment.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Both went that route. The sharing notes, James
I,
Gunn.
I will say the fact that the movie's called Fantastic Four and it's they're like welcome to the family. I'm like Fast and Furious also is an FF movie that's all about family. So
Whatever. Well, I mean, it might as well because that is a superhero movie anyway in
and
terms of the last few
now absolutely
fantastic Fast and
right.
Furious.
Yes.
So
Sure.
makes sense. Why not? I mean, Vin Diesel shows up and he defeats
Vin
Galactus.
Diesel could have been
Yeah,
Galactus. And you go, that could have
he
been
defeats
great.
Galactus on his own. He's that good in Fast and Furious. It's crazy. But it looks good. I'm excited. I won't be, actually. I'll be. Of course, the week I won't. I'm not here the week that movie comes out, so I won't be seeing it early if there is screens for it. So maybe at Comic Con. So maybe I'll see it.
All right, well, listen,
Maybe
you're at
maybe they'll
Comic
have
Con. You're gonna
a
get the bigger scoop. You get the bigger
yeah.
scoop. It's fine.
Well, they screened Deadpool last year. It came out at the same time during Comic Con, so they may screen this
Right.
as well. So hopefully I can finagle my way
I'm sure you can probably sneak a
see
screening or
right
you know
there or whatever.
people. Right,
Yeah, so
yeah.
let's see. I'll see what I can do. But, yeah, but listen, it looked good. I wasn't blown away, but it was a fine, good trailer. Okay,
Right.
cool. Let's see. I'm sure there'll be another one which I won't see, and I'm sure you will. I guess probably a month from now, we'll probably get another trailer, a month and a half, maybe June. I guess
Yeah.
we got that.
Listen, I'm pot
But,
committed. New trailer I'm gonna watch.
yeah,
I'll let
of
you
course,
know
I get it.
the
For
journals
sure,
of
for
it. So
sure.
yeah.
I would guess June. I'm think. And Superman, we still haven't gotten a trailer yet, right? Like a
Not
first
really.
trailer.
We got a little
Right,
snippet that they
because that was a
released during
scene. That was footage.
CinemaCon,
Not
but
this. Yeah,
that's
that's not a trailer. It's not the
right.
same
Not
thing.
a whole new trailer.
Right.
Right.
So I will watch that trailer when that's the one, and that has to be soon, unless they're waiting because they figured that was the second trailer or whatever, first trailer, whatever you want to call it. Maybe I get that's what they consider it. So maybe the second trailer is in June. It's gotta be soon. They can't. It's just
Maybe
the marketing
they were
is
playing
revving
like
up in these
chicken.
movies, man.
They could have been playing chicken with Marvel. Like who's gonna show it first? And they're like, let him show it first, and we'll come in like a week later just to steal the thunder. So who
It wouldn't
knows?
surprise me if they did, but we'll see. And again, unless they consider that footage their trailer, and then here comes Fantastic Four following it,
Then
maybe right.
sure.
It'd be weird to put a trailer very soon, given the fact we got that last footage like 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. It's kind of soon, so I'm thinking probably May, late May, early June is what I'm thinking. But let's see, it looked good. That said, oh man, I'll let you choose: Last of Us or Daredevil.
Let's do Last of Us first. Since we're already talking about Pedro
Pedro
Pascal.
Pascal, fair enough. So do The Last of Us here, dropping the first episode on HBO. We're huge fans of the first one, huge fans of the game.
Such a good series.
Great series for sure. Love the game, no doubt, and it stayed true to the game, which I love, while still making good changes. Right.
Absolutely.
I love that, and I think here it's going to be the same thing. I'll say off the bat. I mean, I guess we shouldn't. We can spoil the episode. I'm not going to spoil the big event in the second game, right? You and I we
Yeah.
talked about, are they really
We
going to
talked about it when the season finale came
correct?
out.
But we didn't mention
talked
it. We
about
just
it.
kind of talked around there if that
Right.
situation is going to occur in this season, right?
Sure.
And I thought they wouldn't. I wasn't sure. It's ballsy, but there's no question they are going to do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Look,
Based off the first episode, yeah.
Here's the move, and because the writer of the series said we're not going to do what Game of Thrones did, which is we're not going to go beyond the source material. So since they're only up to Last of Us 2, even though 3 has been hard at work and we're just waiting for that to get released, we are not going to go to the next thing afterwards. So what that means is that I feel season 2 is going to end with the big first cliffhanger, the big shocker of the game. And then season 3 will be the back end
I would say
of that.
the only reason I say no to that is because they showed us scenes for this season, and the scenes that showed us go beyond that, that incident. Because
Well, then the only other way to delay
I'm
it.
gonna think either this one or the next one, guaranteed the bomb's gonna drop.
You think so?
Guaranteed.
You think
Yeah.
by episode 3, the latest?
Because the ending scenes of part 2, when you have Ellie on her own with what's her, I forget her name, Dina. Is it Dina? I don't know.
Right, Dina.
They're on their own. They're on their own as a result of actions that occurred.
That is true.
Right.
So, wait, let me
Yeah.
ask you a question then, because we all know one of the big shock, now gameplay shock, not story shock. Well, the gameplay shock is they recontextual. There's a certain point in the game where they recontextualize the whole game from another perspective,
Oh, we're
right?
gonna get that.
But
Yeah.
you think we're gonna get that this season, or we're gonna get that
Oh,
next season?
that's gonna be more toward. Good question. I'll say next season.
You think so?
I
Next
mean,
season will be.
they may kind of intertwine because I like what because how the show started was interesting to see that in the game, right? We have I forget her name, whatever her name is. They're like
The blonde
the
girl, the
blonde, the
blonde
blonde
girl.
girl, right? Who with her group and obviously
Yes,
talking about her dad, who was part of the crew that got killed in the
right,
hospital in the end. That's the
right.
part again. So they're already setting up that kind of, which I love about it, the two
Counter
perspectives, right?
narrative,
Yeah, it is. It's
right?
the different perspective of who's the hero, who's the
Yep.
villain, right? Because
Uh-huh.
all signs points to Joel being the villain here, right?
Yeah,
And I kind of alluded to in a therapy session, which is again new, which is cool. Talking about how her, was off screen and not they mentioned the guy's name in the game, but it didn't happen in the game. That he actually
right.
killed his
Which is
husband.
different. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. But it does add an
yeah,
extra layer to the whole
yeah,
situation.
it does because there's ramifications to the stuff that he does, right? Not just between
Yes,
her and
correct.
Ellie. He killed people, and it affects people who know him, right? Now we're gonna get those repercussions. So that
Yeah,
was a really cool way to start the show and set the groundwork because we know you and I we've seen the show, the game, obviously. But for fans who haven't played the game, it's a good way to introduce them and what the conflict is going to be, right?
I think the big moral of the show and the game is that if you're gonna murder someone, make sure it's when there's a lot of people in the world, because the smaller the world gets, the easier it's gonna find a murderer.
Clearly,
So
because the last shot was I think in the game. But look, I like Dina's character very very well done. I like they got a
yeah,
really good actress for her. They had in the game. Remind me, I can't remember the new version of that
the,
of the whatever they call them
the blonde girl, right?
not the
No,
zombie one, not zombies, whatever they are,
the
creatures,
clickers, the
clickers.
clickers.
I guess she comes across in the supermarket like one that's
Oh,
stealthy
so
and intelligent.
yes
Was
and
that in the
no.
game? I don't remember that. I don't
It
know.
was in the
Okay.
game, but they framed it as if this is the first one they met, as opposed to this is just another variation of it, because as a video game we have to keep making different monsters,
Sure.
right? So the way that they're introducing the different monsters is not saying we live in a world where people are programmed to create things to make it look scary. They're like, oh, the cordyceps are evolving and there's these different things, and I was like, that's kind of a cool way to show the evolution of it, to
Yeah.
explain why there's uh, different characters, or why there's different types of zombies that exist and everything. So yeah,
Which is cool. I like that too because it gives some different, something new, right? Because yeah, more
yeah,
stealthy, more like,
and there's
intelligent.
plenty of them. So you're gonna see a lot,
Right.
and
Yes.
also you're
Yes.
gonna see more of the standards that we haven't seen as well, like those bloaters. Like
Yeah.
I want to see more,
Oh
like
yeah,
how
yeah,
scary,
yeah.
or the mishmash, and that's gonna be an awesome one
That's gonna
too.
be
So
cool.
yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
the previews look really great. It's like I said, it wasn't like a great episode. It was a good. It had not to set up. It's been 5 years time jump. We got to
right,
reset the world about where we're at. So it did a good job with that. It's going to build off this into something hopefully
yeah,
really good. So it's great, man. We'll probably talk about this when it ends and stuff. I think this is going to be 8 episodes or 6. Shoot, I forget how many. It's not a long season. It's not like 10, nothing like that. And maybe it's 8.
yeah,
But I guess it's half.
something
Yeah,
short.
I think it's half the game, and then obviously the half next whenever that comes out.
I will
Whatever.
say, I heard a lot of people complain about this, and it's something I generally liked. I'm a little bit bummed out that the blonde girl is not as jacked as her version of the video game. I always thought that was kind of like a cool physical difference
Yeah.
between the two, but like not. I trust the show enough that I'm like, if you didn't get her to be jacked, one of two things: this girl's such a great actress, I'm gonna overlook it, or B, you wanted to get somebody who physically mirrored Ellie, so this way you can see like they're almost polar opposites
Yeah.
instead of such extremes. They're like just two sides of the same coin. Or Dark Horse take, because you're focusing on Joel's side of the story, she's secretly been getting jacked for 6 weeks of training, and so when she takes off her jacket, the girl's just shredded. You're like,
Yeah,
wow. So
HGH exists in that world. I didn't mind. I'm fine with that because again, it makes it more equals, right? Because
yeah,
if
right,
eventually when they do have to confront each other, it's gonna make sense, right? I
sure,
think, but I don't care. I get it. Things don't have to be exactly like the game. They really don't. Just the spirit of it, the themes, the
yeah,
baseline story, and the changes they've done so far, even this season with the therapist, I thought was really good entry,
yeah,
has worked. It's all worked. They
yeah.
know what they're doing, so why not? Now let's go to Daredevil, right? Finally finished. Oh, and it's gonna be 7 episodes, Last of Us. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, like last season was 9, so it's a little bit shorter. Either way, So Daredevil finishing its 8 episode run, finally Disney Plus. Um, it was like the rest of the show, right? It's good, a lot of issues. It was entertaining in and of itself. I'm just talking about the finale. Some cool moments, ridiculous moments. Not laughed at some, not in a good way, but I get it. But
Really? Okay.
nothing was resolved, and that's the biggest disappointment about this season. Where this could have been a 4 episodes and 2 hour movie, and get to the same point. A lot of stuff they brought up was never. No, there was no closure to anything, and any we talk about it all the time. Any good finale, right? Season finale, you have to close stuff and then and open things up for next season. I feel like everything was just setting up the next season, right? And I really don't like that. You have to nothing got resolved. Not a single thing. Visually it was cool, some cool action. Yeah, I like it, all that. It's just noise when the story is not going anywhere except setting up, making its way. So what was the point to begin with, right? Any good TV show has to have resolution, not to everything, but to some things, right? Game of Thrones is a great example of that, right? They'll close the door or something, and last episode usually is when they open things up for what's coming up, right?
Right.
Or
Right.
the aftermath of what happened. This all just seemed like, okay, we're heading somewhere, and now we're still heading somewhere. Episode was fun though, no doubt. It was dark, some cool moments, all that, no question. It seemed like there's an episode or two missing out of this, you know what I'm saying, to kind of close this up. And that was my biggest gripe, right? In terms of storytelling, which has been the biggest problem with the show has been the storytelling, right?
Well, I'll tell
It
you
hasn't
what.
been great, like in terms of like, man, awesome show, because it's been all over the place for various reasons. We know it's not all because of what happened and the reshoot. I get all that, no doubt, but this is what they gave us, so you present it to us. It is what it is. But it was cool to see Punisher, awesome, kicking ass. The funny scene with this guy ripping their face, that was so ridiculous. It's just so out of
Uh,
pocket for that. And I know it's cool, listen, I love that kind of shit, but it's ridiculous. It didn't hurt the
okay,
show at
so
all,
I have to.
but it's
Listen.
stupid. It really is
We
pretty
cannot
stupid. Yeah.
have an episode where we agree on everything. And once again, we reached that moment. I loved that moment, and I'll tell you why. It was as close to comic book Kingpin. Like you understand, when I grew up reading the Kingpin, I remember a scene clear as day where somebody was calling the Kingpin, and there's like, well, he's in a training session, and he's like in this dojo, and there's like 4 ninjas in like underwear, and Kingpin is in just underwear. He's just fat, thick boy, and he is fighting, and they're trying to kill, and he's like snap. He grabs one guy by the face and just snaps his head like that, and his body like, and he just murder. He murders 4 people as a training session, and then he goes, that was a good workout. Get me my tea, clean up the mess.
I mean, that's cool, but it's comics number one. But two, they set it up, right? Here we have some fat guy who's not even as fat as he was before. And when Netflix did it, and he's taking people's heads off, right? He's using stuff around him. He's this
Right.
viciousness, right? That's what's more
Sure.
impressive. The
Right.
actual actor, it just seemed kind of like it was. Let's calm down. This is a grounded show, and that's what makes the show really cool at times, right?
Yeah, but it's still a comic book show, and I like seeing a little comic book, and that
Well, we got
like,
Pinnacle, but we got this guy getting shot, and probably who knows what kind of damage he does, but he still can fight.
well,
And
because
grab things. Let's that's as far as I
but
would
I
take
will
it.
say, I'm going to tell you right now, I
Let's
like the fact that he kept the wound. Like it wasn't like we've seen action movies where a guy gets shot in the shoulder, and it's as if he's got like a paper cut, and he's ready to go. Like Matt is like literally
Is
favoring
it?
his right to give his left.
He favors it when it's nothing's going on, right?
No, you even see the fight. Like he's keeping this arm tight.
I mean,
and he's using his right
it's
arm.
not a complaint. I'm fine with that to that extent, right? Because no one's
But I
grabbing,
like I like
no
that they
one's grabbing a
kept it,
gun
like,
with that
injured.
shoulder, right? Like hours after getting shot, he's probably not getting a period. Let's just make it clear. I mean, but that's okay. I'm not having a problem with that. You're going too far and ripping someone's face off. That's what I can do one or the other. You give me both. It's like
I like
stop.
the fact that both
Stop.
these guys, and we've explained that Daredevil knows how to like basically, and remember season 1, like
Sure.
it said like he knows how to like heal, meditate to help his body heal faster than usual, and all these kinds of things.
That's fine.
So
Fine. No problem with that.
but that and I always, one of my biggest disappointments, not biggest, man, once again, it's a nitpicky disappointment, but it's like I like the fact that Kingpin is strong, but I wish he was a little stronger. And I feel like we're getting closer to the Kingpin strong I've always wanted him to be. So I remember I was watching it last night, and what happened? I then went, oh, like I stood up and oh shit, like was I was like, they did it. They gave him a Kingpin string. I was so excited. So I gotta go to the mat for this. I gotta go for the mat for this because I really like that. I thought it looked cool. I'm glad they did it. I would have liked it if like one eyeball would have popped out just because of the crushing motion. It would have been kind of awesome. But that all being said,
I think
I was
I
it.
would have liked that more than the ripping the jaw off, to be honest with you. I would have found that more believable. It's still ridiculous, but I would have found that more believable. Like, okay, I can take that.
Right.
I'll dig
Okay.
that. I'll dig. But it's a bit. I think they went overboard.
I'm
I mean,
sure that
it's not. At the end of the day, it's not a big deal. It doesn't ruin or make the
it's
show.
not. It's not.
It's not.
But
So
I
I
want,
get it.
and there were talks. If people like, all right, so it's gonna pop like this. It's gonna be like, oh, that's
Oh
too
no,
much.
of
We're gonna
course.
keep
Yeah,
like
we just.
that.
I was thinking like Game of Thrones moment,
Yeah, exactly.
you know.
If it was Game of Thrones, they would have made an eyeball pop.
Oh, right, no,
Just,
right. And if, I mean,
right.
well, yeah, we crushed. We shouldn't crush that.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, but it kind of worked for the show, right? Because it wasn't. I could. Oh, I popped me. I would have believed. I was like, all right, I'll buy
Yeah.
that. I will buy that. But again, it's a small thing, not a big deal. But it did have cool. It was cool. It was bloody as hell, vicious, no doubt. I love Barenthal. I think he's so good and everything. I saw him in
Barenthal
accounting
just
too.
like
Yeah.
elevates stuff.
He really
And I
does.
got to
He's
tell
so
you,
good.
I honestly, one of my favorite scenes with the Punisher in this episode was when Daredevil was almost wanting to kill Cole North, and his Barenthal in the back going, "Do it, Red, do it." And I was like, dude, you are the worst impulse this dude could have.
For real. Jesus, man, peer pressure.
But also, like when they start arguing, I could have watched a whole episode of them just in a room yelling at each other. Like,
Well, that's what I'm
this is so
saying.
good.
He's so good, and we got in season 2. That's what elevated that season was when the scenes he
Yeah.
was in it, particularly the one with
Yeah.
him. They're both talking.
With the hand, yeah.
But no, he's always. I just saw him in Accountant too. I love. He's just great. He's one of my favorites for some reason. But all that worked. Karen really worked.
Karen worked.
I really wish she would have been around the whole time. Her showing up now was kind of weird, to be honest with you. I get it, but it was kind of.
I kind of feel like this whole season
popping out of nowhere.
was just taking a breather.
It was weird.
Like in terms of what we got, they try to frame it as a breather from season 3 to what they want to do in season 2. They had to recontextualize it as a breather because, as you said, the first 15 minutes of episode 1 and then episodes 8 and 9, that's the new team. Everything else was like shot around episodes 2 through 7. They took a bunch of scenes out and made new scenes to make it kind of work.
This could have worked just as good as episode 1, 7, 8, and is it 9 episodes?
Yeah, 9. So
do those 4 episodes, it would have been just fine, right? That's what I'm thinking.
I agree,
yeah,
but
that's why it was kind of off-putting, right? It was kind of weird, you know.
Marvel is not DC where they're gonna file a tax lawsuit. Like these don't count anymore.
Well, they could have done something short. They didn't have to release all those episodes like that. They could have done 4, 6 episodes and then bring it back for season 2.
I think it's because I think there's a little bit of ego in there because Feige said he wanted 18, so 9 and 9. I think it's like we got to do the 18.
From that standpoint, I'm saying where the show kind of filled was that sense, but visually it was still entertaining. It in itself an entertaining episode, right? It's not a bad episode.
Absolutely,
very cool and all that. And that a lot of shit set up for next season. Fair enough, but
what I noticed that they didn't air, and I think that's going to get carried over to season 2. If you remember the original trailers, there's a scene where Kingpin is attacked in the underground, and he's fighting off a bunch of dudes. There's part of a trailer. Yeah, watch the original trailer
that
promoting it.
Could have been cut off from stuff from this season, like
Right, that's what I'm saying. But I'm like, I would have liked to see that scene because, find out how that's happened. But it may have been part of the recontextualized Luca assassination. Like maybe they try to jump him there and he murdered all of them.
That's true.
So who knows, right? Yeah. Now, it's not the biggest cliffhanger, but the big rumor mill is that Foggy's gonna, they said Foggy's gonna come back in season 2. In what context? I have an idea.
It's good.
I have an idea.
Flashback. If it's flashback, I don't care. It's fine.
I think there's a way to make it work in story. Okay, I know everyone's like, they faked his death. No. Foggy Nelson died.
He's dead.
He died.
No question.
The hand brings him back.
I don't know if they're gonna bring the hand in. That's the other issue, right? You've unresolved anything, so it's hard to resolve that and then bring the hand. I just don't know if this.
I think the smart move is, and this is what I think was gonna move, is that to take out the secret army, Elektra comes to offer her assistance, and this is a move that they're going to use the hand to take over New York City. So you know how you were saying like this season they didn't resolve anything. at least in Game of Thrones, they resolve one thing and introduce another. I think what's going to happen is that the way they're going to resolve two issues is that they're going to say that we stopped the Kingpin, we stopped the bad cops, but now the Hand has slid in where Kingpin was. So you're closing the door on the evil cops, but now you have the Hand once again to deal with. And they're mad that they got stopped the last time. So I think that's what's going to happen.
And potentially, we'll see. I mean, Punisher's gonna be, I guess, will be involved. The only thing that was kind of was like, oh, this the worst trope was in that after credit scene, and the whole shake my hand came. Come on,
Yeah.
really? I mean, whatever. What?
Listen,
Okay. Come on, man.
I'll say this: if you know anything about fanboys, they are always gonna
It was like, oh, all
okay.
right, whatever, fine, whatever. Given other ways to get that done, I'm not sure. That was kind of silly, but obviously we knew that was going to happen at some point. He's not going to be caged up, obviously. But listen, it's interesting. I don't know if he mentioned the army thing, like we need an army or whatever. I don't know. My first thought was defenders, but then at the end, but then it showed
I
that
thought so
little
defenders too,
whatever
right?
was there. Yeah,
It was just I think it's like this
right.
is who we can get
I
in
guess. Yeah,
24
I'm kind of
hours.
curious.
That's
I mean, again, it's hard to introduce all these other characters. Like I don't know if we want to go out and bring in Jessica Jones
right.
and Luke. I don't know what all that's.
Yeah.
That's a bit much, right? Yeah.
I I will say I do want Jessica Jones.
You can bring
I
in
do
maybe
want
like
Luke
one of them or
Cage.
something, just
I
to kind of
do want
start that off, maybe. You know.
right. I do want the White Tiger, the new White Tiger,
We're too
the
far from
little
that.
Puerto
We're
Rican
too far
girl.
from that.
But
Yeah.
I want that. Like she doesn't have to be dressed as a White Tiger, but she should have been in the room.
Oh.
That's what I'm thinking.
She's a little too
BB
young. That's
should
what I'm
have been
thinking.
in the
She's a little
room.
too young. She's got yeah.
Okay, fair. I think BB would
That's fair. And
have
like,
been
if
a
she
good
had
in the
if
room
they had
person as
established her as
well.
having training and was doing all that dad was teaching her, then okay. But maybe that's the
Right.
case. He just didn't set that up, so I don't know, right? So it'd be kind of weird to put it there as like she's a
Fair.
teenager.
But you know who else? You know who else I want in it for maybe one or two episodes? And I know it's a high watermark. I know they're not going to do it. And no, it's
That's
not
fine.
Spider
I
Man.
know.
Okay, it's not Spider Man. I want Moon Knight, Mark Spector to be in there,
I get
and I want but I don't want him in the bandage suit. I want him in the Mr. Knight suit. I want it to be a situation where like they need to get something and it's super fortified, and then you could say either Luke Cage or Jessica Jones heard there's somebody in town they might be able to reach out to, and he goes in and does his Moon Knight thing. They're killing him. He's living out the whole thing, and at the end he drops it off, and he's like covered in red, but in his white suit, and he just kind of fixes himself up, and is like, I got it. Now, if excuse me, I'm gonna go. And like, who was that dude? Like, trust me, you don't want to know. Like, I want that. Like, that would make me happy to know. Oh my god, fantastic! But that would be one episode at
Do you
least,
think
but two at the most. Yeah.
Space Bullseye teams up with Daredevil? It kind of makes sense. No.
No. Anyone who
I mean,
says
I don't know
they're
because
stupid and
he's the
wrong.
wild card. I
No,
mean, your enemy, my enemy.
he's not a wild card. He's a psychopath. There's a difference between Wolverine and Gambit are wild cards.
Well, just in terms of the
Bullseye
story,
is the
I'm just saying. I mean,
saber tooth. It's a
it's not beyond
psychopath.
the realm of possibility that they could go that route and say, okay, well, hey, I need your help. We take down, and he, he helps because they're both. He wants Kingpin dead,
In
right?
the
He wants
heat
Kingpin dead,
of
obviously.
battle, they may
Sure.
team up towards the same goal, but they're trying to kill each
That's
other
what I mean. I
the
don't mean
whole
like
time.
they're
They're
gonna
trying to
first
get to the
episode. Hey
kingpin.
man, knocked on the door, help me out. I don't mean that. I'm saying he might jump in at some point or be
Okay,
involved in whatever that happens. He's in
possibly.
that mix. Because he also wants Kingpin dead, right?
Right.
It's, you know how it is. Your friend
Yeah.
is your enemy, right? Your friend of your enemy is your friend. Enemy of
Yeah.
your friend is your friend. Whatever. You know what I mean.
The, the enemy
Is my
of
friend. There
my
we go.
enemy is my
Something
friend.
like that.
Yes.
But so I could see that like potentially because they showed him in the end like he's obviously there.
Right. But I think he's going to make his own moves. And I do think, and part of my idea is that when the Hand comes back, if they do the Hand thing, because Daredevil once again disavows them, Bullseye gets recruited in his place,
Yeah, that could make sense. Yeah.
and Bullseye joins the
That's
Hand.
like a setup
And
for
I
the
think
third
that,
season, that kind of deal. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
like,
exactly,
if there's anything with the
exactly.
hand, it has to be like last episode again, right? You close the deal, now you open up the new path, and now that's the hand, right? I'm good with that. To introduce
Right.
him now, it's too much going on. Right.
No, I'm not season 2, episode 1. but like, at
You
least
can hint it
halfway or
and
definitely
then
towards the
seeing it
back
at
end,
the end
that's
as
what
a
you want to
setup
do.
for a third. Like this is
You can introduce Elektra in the
possible.
front half,
Yeah,
but the hand
much later.
as the
Right? Yeah,
whole
they shouldn't be
as in the
involved.
back half. That's because if I'm not mistaken, there was a rumor that they had recast
I heard
Elektra
the same
in the
thing.
series.
Maybe I
Remember?
don't know. I don't know. She was cutting room
So I think
floor.
that they were
Maybe
going to do something
I
like
don't know.
that, but it would have been too
Maybe
convoluted or not strong enough. And
I
this is a
think so.
way
Now,
better
yeah,
way to do it.
obviously, I think yeah. If they bring her in, I'm totally fine with that. Like, it'd be interesting. And I'm assuming Karen, because Karen, there's a huge difference when Karen's in the show. Am I wrong there? Like
Yeah,
her chemistry with Matt, it's
no,
really good,
no,
and that's why. And what we
it's
got with her
really good.
scenes was non-existent with the psychologist. It didn't work. That's how I'm not noticing. It
Absolutely,
just didn't work. They work,
nope.
man. They work.
Like just to let
You
you,
know.
just so you can know, comic book wise, Karen's dead in the comics, but they keep saving her because she's so good on the show
Mm.
working with Matt that it's just
Yeah, it
you
really is.
you can't
It's a
deny it.
big part. The show, I say change, it's an exaggeration, but definitely took a turn for the better with her in it. That's episode, yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's why I feel like episodes 8 and 9 were I felt and a lot of people felt were really
Sure,
good steps in the right direction of the
that's
kind of
fair.
show we
Yeah,
wanted in
for
the
sure,
first
absolutely.
place.
But let's see. But listen, it
Yeah.
was still good. Just wasn't great. And again, issues notwithstanding. But I think now it's like, okay, now there's no excuses, right? Now
I
we expect we
I
expect
still
better
think
next season.
season 1. Yeah, I still think season 1 and season 3 are the best
Yes, for sure.
seasons, but I would put this
I would
above
have asked
season
because
2.
season two had at least had the story that I could cling on to, and it had Punisher, which really elevated that season. I thought those are
I mean, yeah, but Punisher is only the front and the
the
back
middle
end,
part's the
and the middle
weakest part,
part's
no
always
question.
kind of the
But at least
weakest
he
part
was
out of
there,
everything.
and it closed. It just had much more flow to it. But whatever. It's you know,
I guess I got to
sure, that's
rewatch
fair.
both of them
Yeah,
to really kind of. I
that's
might have
fair. Yeah,
recency
it happens all
bias.
the time.
That's the thing
The
too.
knee
So
jerk
yeah,
reaction we just finished watching. I get it.
sure.
But it was still a good effort. Just not we were looking for great, and obviously all the circumstances that was not going to happen, unfortunately. But at least they salvaged
No.
what I assume was going to be a disaster.
I'm definitely
Yes,
interested for the
right.
next
No,
season, which
agreed.
I think is
Yes,
the
I
most
think they did
important
enough to
job of
say,
the
okay,
series. Yeah,
let's do this right. Let's do this right. There's no excuses.
right,
I don't hear shit.
right,
You're helming from the get go. So let's rock it out.
right.
So I am excited for that. So they did a good job with that. So,
Yeah.
but that said, we'll do some Thunderbolts. I'm kind of curious to see how this movie goes. Maybe some spoiler stuff. Maybe once you like spoilers, I get it. Maybe we'll do some spoiler stuff.
I like it, but we like our fans. We'll do a non-spoiler
Yeah.
until it's open to
Yeah,
everybody, and then after
you
May
watch and
2nd,
stuff like that.
we'll
So,
do.
but that being said, those are the nuggets for the week.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the show. We appreciate all the love and support you give us. Don't forget to like and subscribe here on YouTube and the Latin Nerd Network. We have shows such as The Watch List, Nerdsplaining, Fantasy Choice, many shows up to go as long as well. Don't forget to go to dangersquad.com. Check out my comic book. There's a link to buy the issues there all digitally right now. So keep supporting that. I really appreciate everything you do for that. Don't forget to back in my album, Adorably Offensive, on ericdasilva.com, EricDasilva. While you're there, you can listen to all the original audio episodes of Nerdsplaining there as well. If you guys are in Athens, Georgia, I'll be there this Saturday at the Academics Brewery, so that'll be a fun show as well. So if you're in Athens, Georgia, come check me out there. Working on some clean material. I'm trying to be a better person, so see me fail that. That's kind of fun as well. And guys, let us know what you thought about Daredevil. Let us know what you thought about the trailer of Fantastic Four. Let us know what you thought about The Last of Us. Let us know what you think about everything. And do you agree with us? Do you disagree? How cool or uncool was the head crushing scene? We want to know it all. Guys, as always, I've been Eric Da Silva. This has been Jose Romero. We have been Nerdsplaining. And if you don't know,